I was thinking of our old friend Colin. No rancor, as he would say. No racism, no rancor. So, doing my old man walking outfit. Sun's starting to get to that stage in the northern hemisphere where you can walk later and later into the afternoon with a good bit of sun. So something, wow, so many. See, this is why I'm walking. Oh, and I want to show you guys where the grass is at now. Remember how I kept walking past that project? Well, look at it now. Look at it now that we got sun. We could be out here. You know, you could sit down and enjoy, and apparently this is really troublesome. I have overheard a conversation that I think was about this, that there's something about these wild grasses aren't taking now or something. Yeah, but we'll see. Inevitably, the grass will always win. So we'll see how that goes. So something I was thinking about, that I was like, no, you got to take a little walk, because you don't want to talk about it with rancor and ill-manneredness and spite. It's more of a kind of thing of that moment that you're like, that moment that you realize evil is real. And that's humility, humilitas. The power of evil is quite real. And so two big events that have solidly they've kind of gotten coverage, but I looked at all the afternoon YouTube, and it's not happening really. So one of these is CO2 has been re-regulated. CO2 has been re-regulated such that it is now no longer some kind of greenhouse gas that must be worked against with tremendous amounts of money. There's been apparently calculated that this is in the law, that within Trump's administration of 4 years, this will save us trillions of dollars all throughout the economy. We're now ending this farce that carbon dioxide, the exhale of most of the kingdom Animalia, is a problem and is fundamentally a bad thing. So that living creatures are bad for the environment is really at some point what the environmentalists are arguing. Hence the massive firing of people at NOAA. This actually had to do with Doge going through NOAA, NOAA, that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So that's a huge win, and has gone totally under the radar because they can't talk about it. The left can't talk about it. It's too big of a defeat. This is a humongous defeat for the left. This is one of these areas that they really don't want people like knowing that they're engineering society by making it such that, well, humans are actually an environmental problem. The existence of humans. And they didn't want it too much of the left, like they tried not to fess up that this was what they were about, but now we got them. and now they're done. We've defeated them when one strike, like we cut the head right off. So then there's another boom, and this one was widely reported, but now it's the ramifications. A lot of the stuff around the story is starting to, like, nobody's really yet talking about it. So I figured, why not take the subject up? Because I'm always trying to get it kicked off of the internet. So let's discuss it. So the other big win is combat readiness. Individual soldiers, combat readiness immediately. If you are on estrogen, if you are suffering from gender dysmorphia, dysphoria, whatever, all of these things, they disqualify you. They're back to being disqualifiers for service. You are not capable of serving as a soldier at that, and that's it. It's done. They gave the protocols that, you have to get off by this time, get off the drugs, and then you have to seek counseling and and then you have to, and standard kind of thing that if a soldier has PTSD, they would have to go through this. If a soldier was discovered as probably spiking on T, and they had a CO who's like, no, you can't spike up on T, bro, sorry. And like they're roid raging at bars or something on their, R&R days, or just roid raging at, on, just getting out of pocket or something. And it's like, no, you have to seek therapy, psychotherapy, because this is fundamentally addictive, and it compromises the honor of the soldier. Knowledge of this compromises the confidence that the commanding officer has in the soldier. That's, again, a thing that breaks the tie of honor heavily. But then beyond that, it's that, I'm sorry, if you're supposed to be under command and you're addicted to some shit, you're not really under my command. You're under the command of who's ever you're getting your shit from. So that's it. I mean, so you'll do what you can to get your shit. It's the rest of it. The rest of it is, who knows why you're doing the rest of it. So beyond this, one of the things I started to think about was, okay, at some point there's going to be here's the future view of some, because I got to see it. I got to see the post-hippie world and how they defended it all. Especially a big part of it was the 70s. Like my father, as a good liberal, he had gotten to an age that a lot of what happened in the 70s, he remembered it, but it wasn't, there was no internet yet. So, you had to piece together a lot of history from what you remember from the radio and from newspapers and stuff like that, and what people tell you. But now we got the internet, a supercomputer in my hand. So it's a totally different thing. And so my father, in bringing up, he goes, things got really ugly during the 70s. And so, of course, it was Steven Crowder, who was one of the best for doing this comically brilliant thing about how bad it was, how bad it got with the left. That the left were forming armed groups, and they were blowing up police stations and calling in bomb threats. Ooh, pardon me. And they would form all kinds of cults, Black American, like, militant religious cults and things like that, and based, like, you could tell the language of it was quasi-Masonic mixed with kind of Marxist stuff and Islamic shit. And so now, seeing that influenced Obama through his direct influence by one of the weathermen, at least one of them, and then other people bringing up that he apparently had some relationship with some of the other weathermen who had eventually they got out of prison, for being terrorists, leftist terrorists, and then they become college professors. And then it was like Crowder really got into. He goes like, no, really, almost none of these people from the 70s who were openly terrorists. Really, it was like, people who didn't hang in Nuremberg, like they ended up running the countries that they, later, and with the 70s and the left, it was like, yeah, you were terrorists, but now you could be professors. So now we get to this part where we have the military, but the military has all these these BDSM people. So people are into bondage, domination, and sadomasochism. Sadomasochism. And the left is angry that people addicted to drugs and are sadomasochists who openly take pictures of themselves in their sadomasochistic costumes with their full dress greens on, and so this entire concept of it being fundamentally a mockery of this kind of duty they hold, that really is what's going on with it, because the whole idea is that this is a submissive type of kink, like that they're a dog of some sort. And it's wacko. And then all these guys, these men in dresses that are pretending that they're, I'm this senior general. Oh, we're all really highfalutin people. We win wars over here in our heels. And that this is defended from the left. And then let's think about the future history of this. What was the military like at that time? How popular was it? The military was incredibly unpopular until the change. They couldn't find anybody to shit on it. They were hemorrhaging the people. They had to, by order of the court, to pay people back and give people their rank back after kicking them out for the prick. And then comes that part of it, that whole angle of, oh yes, the voting base that felt you should be able to lock people up and treat them to experimental drugs. So what about that part of it? That angle of it. Oh yeah. So this whole voter base that felt that you shouldn't go shopping unless you could pass some kind of wacky test that you would take in your experimental drugs. That part of the voting base that ended up being totally and completely crushed, well, they actually really like these kind of generals. They're like all about these generals, that they want more of this. That's what they want. Then you see the tranny who was the spokesperson, all Slava Ukraine, and then you see just over and over and over again. The left was about trannies and dog outfit generals. And then the people voted because they knew that didn't make any sense, and it was gone. And once it was gone, everything changed. And then on top of it all, the administration started making peace with adversaries based on what everybody had in common, such as the deep desire for peace and simple commerce, which it started to, now we're starting to find out this is all what a lot of this is about, is the for some reason stifling of commerce by the left. Oh yeah, the left. Maybe that's not such a mystery, huh? Yeah, but the stifling of commerce, and the stifling of commerce for the point of controlling the economy and controlling who can do business with whom, so they could pick the winners and they could pick the losers at the administrative level without it actually being legislated, and so they're never at fault. So as usual, when you look back at how could the American government just take land from the Native Americans? How could the American government, and then you see that it took like a decade for the Republicans to replace the Democrats so that black people could actually hold offices that they were elected to. That eventually it's, you end up getting, it's so, how did this happen with the economy for so long? Well, because back in the 18 such and such, it took a decade to get the Democrats out of office. This is just this repeated cycle with the Democrats, because they're contiguously the same group of really donors. And the Republican Party seems to be built differently. It's built of different things. And it was the Bush family that severely altered what was understood. Oh my God, that's great. I got to show you guys this. This is hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. That's great. Of course, right by the high school. Yeah, that's fucking funny shit right there. Who even knows? It's that kind of thing. Who even knows if it, what the deal is with that? But so now we have, what was it? Yeah, tranny murder cult. We have this constant thing now of it. This is this thing politically that it's this middle class white woman kind of like scuffed hippie kind of thing, like that it's their thing. It's like scuffed hippie mom thing. It's like a Birkenstocks issue. If you live life in Birkenstocks, you know what's important to you? Trannies in Ukraine. And so now it's really this thing of nobody has to give a shit, because this is obviously duplicitous. It's obviously cover for other kinds of other things going on. But those two issues are like, those are full on, like Tiamat just lost a leg, a wing, and a couple of the heads. That's the beauty of it. That's kind of the beauty, like that it's one of those where you're like, whoa, that took a lot out of it. Awesome. Yeah. Kids still playing horns. That's the thing I can give to South Eugene. They're keeping alive the tradition of pretty well-funded band. And I have a personal kind of like love for the idea of teaching the young to keep music alive. We should keep dance alive. Have more ballroom dance. But, we'll see how that plays out as time goes on. But, so this was two major W's. I'm very interested that Zeldin's what Zeldin said has not gotten any coverage at all. It was NPR, Revolver News, of course, aggregating NPR because the right wing knows what the left wing writes. The left wing doesn't give a shit what the right wing writes or thinks. That's why they're always caught on their heels in the corner, getting beaten about the liver and the spleen. And so that's how it works. And so so NPR was trying to tell its people, but I mean, who knows if they're going to, really pay much attention outside of the environmental circles. We'll see if it shows up on the Young Turks. If it shows up on the Young Turks, it means, okay, the left gets this. The left gets, oh shit, there's no carbon cap and trade without CO2. That's the beauty of that one. There is no more carbon cap and trade without CO2 being a factor. It's not going to happen. That market, that hustle, that bullshit that got set up by Al Gore is all going to fall apart, and companies aren't going to have to dump money into it, most importantly. And then on top of it, it's going to make it a much more honest game for a lot of companies, because there's basically a lot of people who, they're good players. They are like, and I really do mean this. Up here in Oregon, there's a lot of people that they'll have a company that they manufacture something. They're really good about their outputs. That they're very, very, very good about their waste, their outputs, and their sourcing. They can't compete against companies that are with this hustle of carbon cap and trade. And nobody gets that. They don't get how that's just a hustle that was set up by super money. Because NPR says so. Because NPR told them. So and they don't like thinking like that. They don't want negative vibes. They don't want negative thinking. They want to be positive about it. And it makes sense. They're trying to have a positive view, something they think that's helping the world. And I get it. And it's but that's it's the world. The world doesn't do that. That's heaven. Heaven does good for good. In heaven, people do good for good's sake, But in the world, it's everybody's got what they're trying to get up to, and so it's everybody's got to make their money. Everybody's got to make their mail, and everybody's got to eat and pay their rent. And in heaven, there's no rent. Heaven, there's no rent. That's the whole thing. There's no mortgages, no rent. So, yeah. All right. Well, there we go. That's pretty much what I had on that one. It really is one of those things. There's going to be some people who are going to nail this subject. They're really going to nail this subject to the wall. There's a few people I could think of. I'm thinking they're going to get on this. Then they're going to really do the full Lion-O sort of omens, sight beyond sight kind of way that they're, presentation of, is it, okay, so here's the timeline. Here's the kind of weird stuff that we were seeing, So now that we know how our money was being used for this weird stuff, here's what you got to think about. They were going to make you not go to a grocery store, and there's going to be better people who are going to do it. So I'm just ready. I'm here for it. All right. Talk to you guys later. Peace.